not doing what I wanted to be doing. All right. Here we are. It's 2 p.m. It is the time of Lang. Hello to everybody. Especially hello to Ragdoll, who's been with us for quite a while and who watches from Australia. Hello. And so I know it's a beastly hour over there. I don't remember which hour, but it's an unpleasant one. You're now not the only Australian. I don't know if you know this. We have another Australian, Amy Lawrence, who watches. So there's a pair of you now. I don't know where you live respectively in Australia. I assume so far apart that if you were to actually walk from one person's residence to the other, it would take you twice as long as if you walked all the way around the globe. 6:30 a.m. That is a beastly hour. I bet George's Tongues and Runes shift was an absolute godsend. Tongues and Runes airs every Saturday at 6 a.m. Pacific, which is probably like normal time Australia. I don't quite know how exactly to figure that out based on the information I have.
It's at midnight in Australia, isn't it?
Looks like Australia is a half hour off. Because Ragdoll's...
No, 10 p.m. It's 10 p.m. Because 6 a.m. for us is 8 hours earlier than we stream. If it's 6:30 there now, it's 10:30 p.m. when it's 6 a.m. So that may not be more doable depending on your sleep schedule.
10:30 p.m. Huh, how about that? And with that, the spell was broken. That was a quote from something, but what was it? Beauty and the Beast, that was it. Or it was, the spell would be broken. That was it. All right, so...
I feel like this is where Mateus was last week.
Who?
Mateus, not winning at chess.
Let's see Mateus here. There's a McCain.
Mm-hmm. David.
Yeah.
Can you hit that light switch?
Oh, lightsy whitesy. Just a minute. There we go. Oh, it's Briella's birthday party this Saturday.
Jake's not wearing shoes.
Who?
Jake.
I don't know any Jake. I know a Jakai. It's a little Discord joke.
It's Prod. Jake Prod.
Everything about my look right now is awful. Is awful.
David.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed you texted me the order. Not.
What? Oh, son of a biscuit-eating bulldog.
I just noticed that. Because I saw that your text came through, but I assumed it was, to the group. God, my shoulders are very painfully tight. Okay. What are we doing, David?
Well, Patrick says that his doctor said that if this episode of LangTime Studio isn't the greatest ever, he might pass away. Well, I have bad news for you, Patrick.
Really nice knowing you, Patrick.
And good news for your undertaker. Keep that fella on speed dial.
Oh my. Coconut water is a little noisy. And yeah, we can eat there, that's fine.
Okay. That'd be easier.
Yeah.
All right. But it was yet another Upanism referring to Jake as Jakai.
Did you
move this
change
back.
the settings back to what it should be? Because we had done the...
No, I didn't. Oh, let's bring the old beast out. Here we go.
Which, speaking of David,
Yeah.
we
like this?
recorded...
Oh, yeah, today.
We recorded a podcast episode, and then somebody didn't actually prepare the files.
Who's that?
Because, like, not being in charge of the podcast, like, makes it so my brain is like, okay, I'm done. I just show up and do the recording.
Well.
I'm not done. So tonight I need to
Yeah, very sorry about that.
prepare the files.
Be very excited, though. Our latest episode of LangTime Chat features our own Nemo. And it will be out today at some time. Tonight-ish. If it's... that's not... well, if nothing catastrophic happens, let's say. Other business news, business news, you will have noticed that this was the last scheduled regular episode of LangTime Studio, like on the YouTube scheduler. That's because we weren't sure if we would be able to stream next week. We're visiting Jesse's sister in Philadelphia. But with the way the schedule has shaken out, we will be able to stream. So we will stream from Philadelphia, from which Jesse has streamed before. Have we streamed together from Philadelphia?
I actually don't know.
I don't know either.
I feel that we may have. But I don't remember.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to promise anything, but there is a chance that there is going to be a young and feisty dog on that stream. So you'll want to look out for that. Very exciting.
Hey, Carl.
Oh, hey, Carl. Anyway. Yeah, I suppose we should move on. And so let's make sure that this works. That's not centered just right. We're going to very quickly go through the poll because the poll turned out to be pretty lopsided. So that's kind of exciting, though. It gives us our marching orders. So we were talking about noun number in the poll. As a reminder, Hauhoff, which is drawn from the same proto-language as our Fox language, ended up with 5 different numbers. A pretty unique grouping, but it makes sense when you see how and why they came about. There was an older singular, dual, plural system, and then added onto that was a couple more number things that kind of pushed the old plural into a modern collective, replaced the plural, and added a paucal or a paucal form. Anyway, so that was Hauhoff's number system. And, you know, those forms obviously exist in this language, and we need to decide what to do with it. We came up with 2 ideas done 2 different ways, and we decided to leave it to you. So there were 4 options. One was to go singular, dual, plural, like using those early forms that Hauhoff had, and then having them kind of uncontracted or contracted. So there were some examples here of like the uncontracted form, and you could see like with the accusative dual of dog, it would be like hochabram, plural would be hohabram, and so on. But the contracted one kind of shortens it up so that we have like, you know, wabram, wabram, you know, makes it a little nicer. So that was singular, dual, plural. And then the others were the same. It was just only singular and plural. And again, with the contracted forms, the uncontracted forms and the contracted forms. So in terms of the poll, we were going to do kind of a thing where it was like, okay, we'll see which maybe more people like A than B, but the winner of A was the contracted, but more people actually like uncontracted, and so on. So I thought it might end up having to be quite a complex calculation. It wasn't. It was a landslide. There were a few votes for B1, and I think one vote for A2. And then all the rest of the votes went to B2. Singular, plural, contracted. So, not bad. I like it. We've got a singular and plural form for our foxes.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some phonology happen there.
Can you do that again? Nice. I want to make sure that shows up on screen. Ish. It shows up ish.
Ish. I was thinking of Ed from Cowboy Bebop. Anyway.
As a side note
Mm-hmm.
to what Danielle is saying here, I was
Yeah, go ahead.
in a maypole as a kid. 5th graders got to do the maypole for our town. And so when I was in 5th grade, and like you have to be like in a group selected for the maypole when you're in 5th grade. And I did the maypole when I was in 5th grade.
When I was at preschool in San Pedro, at the one I think I pointed out to you, it certainly was less formal. I think it's harder to wrangle preschoolers
Try again.
than 5th graders.
Uh-huh.
But easier to wrangle 5th graders than 7th graders, I bet. Anyway, so as toys, we had these colored ribbons attached to things, the kind you would see in rhythmic gymnastics. And there was also a large pole that they were sometimes attached to where we could twirl around with them. I loved these ribbons. I absolutely loved them. I loved their colors. They were kind of pastel. And there were lots of different colors. And I loved that. That was one of my favorite things when I was in preschool.
Sounds like a maple.
Yeah. Also, the person there, one of the teachers was named Joy, and I liked her a lot, but she left while I was there. Indeed, I was woken up from a nap, because I never took naps there, to be told that Joy had left because they didn't want me to be sad. But I wasn't, very sad. It's like I understood these things happen.
You were a very wise child.
I was a man of the world. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, also just we're very, very happy to see Patrick here. Patrick here and well and healthy. And wealthy. Oh my, yes. Oh, yeah.
All right. So, David, what do we do to make this happen? What do we need to do?
Yeah, I was afraid you'd ask that. I kind of forget what we were doing. Like how we came up with those forms. Did we have a workspace? We did.
Workspace as in...
So these were our cases. Right, because that was last week, the poll to determine the cases. This was the winner. It was just combinations of cases. We weren't introducing any other morphology.
I thought you did notes in your notebook if you were asking about like where notes were.
No, I'm okay. So I'm
you mean in the document?
yeah, I'm on page 19, and we have already filled out some of these tables. We have nominative, accusative, genitive, locative.
Right. We hadn't known what we were gonna do with the compound cases yet,
Yeah.
and obviously we left the plural alone until we figured out what was going on.
Yeah, so let's do this. Let's finish up these tables. I am looking at my notes that I have here. That's not helpful.
I'm having a difficult time disengaging from one project to work on another. So my brain is totally over here as we're like in Fox language land.
Was it one of these projects or one of those projects?
One of those.
Which project?
Well, I started because it's May, so everyone knows at home. If you know from Discord, you know that every day I'm like doing a little something in Conlangs and drawing pictures and things like that. Every even month is going to be my Nissa language. Every odd month is going to be a different language, not Nissa language. And this month I woke up and was in the mood to fill out details for. Do you remember that little tiny language sketch I made called Vuela? And it was like it was used for an example in my textbook.
No.
Anyway, I decided I wanted to fill it out. And so I've been filling it out. And then I decided that I wanted to test the strategy that I want to potentially use for the upcoming book project on this language. And so my brain is like on this organizational mode of like, how could I portion out these details to make it ready for the book project?
Well, in order for this to be the best episode of LangTime Studio ever, we need to do something a little different. You want to just work on that, and I'll work on this?
And just say nothing to each other the whole time?
Yeah.
So people can just watch us staring at the screen. Well, they'll see what's on your screen anyway.
I review user feedback a lot, and I've been going through the monthly focus group reports. And frankly, the thing they like the least about the show is us yammering.
Us talking?
Yeah, I hate that. They really, really dislike Kopiko as well. It's just devastating, honestly. They kind of are not on board with the whole language thing.
Yeah, definitely not on board with glyphs. I know that.
Man, but let me tell you what tracks. Anytime you are drinking a kombucha on screen, the numbers go off the chart.
Well, I've been drinking coconut water lately, though. Sparkling coconut water, not kombucha.
They're surprisingly lukewarm to that.
It is sad because it is very good coconut water.
Yeah.
As a side note, one of the words I had created in this little language sketch prior to now was kopiko.
Oh.
And it, of course, means pleasure.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm struggling. I'm sorry, everyone, because my brain is on Project A when it needs to be on Project B.
Ooh, that gives me an idea for Let's Have a Booba language. Every word has a Jake form and a Miles form. And you have to do something to it to turn it from a Jake form into its Miles form and vice versa. Kind of like the eg thing with Esperanto, which, what a stupid idea. They look almost the same.
Oh, did you think Kopiko was going to mean sparkling coconut water? Jake just said, I thought you were going to say sparkling coconut water. And I did at one point say that. And so then I don't know where I would have said it otherwise. So now. Ooh, the Burr language, which will be named soon, does have two dialects. Much like Topopla having my river possum dialect.
Yeah.
Unofficial, but very important.
They misspelled burr, though, which is somebody who removes burrs from things is a burr.
Is a burr?
No, just a burr.
The burr.
Well, there's, deburr, but basically the burr, since there isn't somebody that adds burrs to things, burr is fine.
What do you think those plants are? They're burrs. They're out there saying,
That's
"Oh,
an-
you want to walk? Here's
That's
some
an
birds. They're burrowing you."
That's an entirely different taxonomy. That's like how morphology means one thing in linguistics and it means something different in plants. Not that type of burr. I'm talking about a human burr.
Oh no, today's word, Jake, was actually just the word for flower.
Man,
It's pela.
how would the English say burr?
Say what?
How would the English say burr? Somebody that deburrs something or burrs something. Like
Burr.
buh.
So Jake, how would you say burr?
Yeah, burr.
Is it, as David is suggesting, just buh?
My father used to be a burr.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the human burr, Patrick. Oh my goodness, David. Let's do things.
Yeah, so there's two things that need to be done. One is the plural. Two is the extra cases, which we did not do here for some reason.
Well, because we weren't ready, and I think in part because we wanted to see what was going to happen with plural, but also we needed to, I think, test some of the ways those forms would come together sound change wise. Anyway, we didn't want to get ahead of ourselves and plant these as like done forms before we had other decisions made.
Oh, there's Karis. Oh.
You haven't plugged in yet?
Nah.
I feel like the light is doing absolutely nothing for me. Do you remember that one time we turned down the tone on my camera? Has it stayed turned down? Because I was too bright one time. I tried to move my camera up. We'll see if that helps. The important things, people, as I stare at this number. Oh, there we go. I think whatever is happening right now.
I didn't do anything.
Maybe it was just my camera needed to be up. I feel like it looks brighter. Anyway.
Set color.
Maybe that's what you did, and it turned me less red, which is always appreciated.
Oh. Oh. Well, that's just in the... Oh, I kind of like that. Ooh. It's nothing. It's nothing that you can see. It's only in the menu. I can make them different. I can make the things different colors. And so I'm making them all different colors.
David.
My color is cool blue. Your color is bright yellow. And then the Yeti mic, of course, is orange.
Orange.
Orange. And then chat will be black. Because it is black.
Okay, so CJ, it's maypole, like an actual pole that stands up high and from the ground. And at the top of it are attached these colored ribbons, multicolored ribbons that are thick, and they go all the way down to the ground. And each child holds the end of a ribbon, and you do dances around it to weave shapes into, like the ribbons, you weave shapes around the pole, and then you have to reverse and undo it so you can do a different shape. It's a whole thing.
I'm having so much fun.
And
Okay, but
David,
what was I supposed to
I've
do?
lost David.
I was supposed to.
I think now
filters.
it's better. I had moved my camera up. I think
Properties?
it's
no.
a little bit better.
No, it's filters. I've got to do filters.
And yeah, if you actually just look up maypole dance online, you'll see so many examples. And yeah, it was a big thing that we did as a town. So like, we did a whole little festival like in the park that you've been to now, David.
Oh yeah.
That park we went to.
Yeah.
The maypole would get set up there.
Well, that's cool.
We danced. So anyhow. Oh, you're beach balling.
Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Feels like a thing to potentially worry about, but cool.
I made you a little brighter.
Ooh, yeah, you did.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You
All
made
right.
it. Cheers. Sparkly coconut water.
Yeah. All right. So, I think what I'm gonna do now is go back to the previous poll and take a look at it. So I think case stacking won. And so we need an allative and an illative. All right. The allative is hua plus I. And the illative is hua plus om. Okay. Armed with that knowledge, let us return. Oh, God.
And hello, Yer. If you heard that, I don't know, David's whole computer seems to be.
I recognize that icon, I think.
It looks very Stardew Valley.
Yeah. I really want those muffins. So Jesse made these muffins.
Do
Please
you want me to go grab two? Because then we can just set them out and they can kind
Yeah.
of thaw.
tell everybody, like when you get back though, please tell everybody about these muffins that you made. She just made up a recipe, and it's probably, like, I don't know how she does this. She keeps doing these new things, and they're like suddenly like top 3 best things I've ever eaten in my life.
Which means at some point things are getting knocked out. What's getting knocked out, David?
I know, like, it is quite literally an embarrassment of riches. I'm loving it. Is anybody noticing? Is anybody noticing that I'm hanging up? You know, that's not a bad idea. Jesse Cookbook.
Okay, so these muffins, which right now are... Uh-oh.
What?
I just got the yellow bar.
What yellow bar?
On YouTube, you know, not receiving enough video. So please do, people, tell us if we are dying.
It tastes to be more specific. So yeah, is the stream hanging up from time to time?
Jonathan says the video has been totally fine.
Okay.
CJ says everything looks good. So, all right, we'll just keep going. Anyway, yeah, I made these muffins. I was in the mood for zucchini bread. But in general, I prefer making things in muffin or cupcake form just because every serving is already individually done, and that's perfect. David loves carrot cake, and so I decided with the zucchini muffin idea that I had, I wanted to add carrots. And I saw online that somebody also added apple, and I thought that sounded delightful. So anyway, they are zucchini, carrot, apple muffins. In my version of the muffin, they have chocolate chips. In David's version, it also has chocolate chips, but I added, for David's muffins specifically, I added butterscotch chips. And so David has chocolate and butterscotch. I prefer it with just the chocolate, so mine is just that. And it's got a lot of like cinnamon, allspice, clove, nutmeg, those kinds of flavors, ginger in it as well.
Okay.
Ooh, apple cinnamon pierogi. That sounds amazing.
Huh. I've never had a dessert pierogi. We've only had savory ones.
Yeah.
I've had them in Poland. They're really good. But you don't really like dumplings, yeah?
You know, it depends on partially on what's inside them and how much is inside them. And it just all depends. Like the softer, the slippery, slimy, not in sauce dumplings. I don't prefer. Like, I'd rather it be covered in sauce.
That's basically pierogi.
Um, Anyway, and also if they are going to be just out of sauce, I want them to be more stuffing on the inside. It really depends, Jonathan. It really depends. And there are a lot of places that do like the soup dumplings that I just don't like the flavor inside them. And so really all I'm eating is wet noodle. And it doesn't really taste that good. I do like the fried dumplings.
Fried pierogi, fried dessert pierogi.
See, and they aren't slimy. The pierogi I've had have not been wet and slimy. Like they've been, I guess, like Jonathan said, like lightly fried or something. And so that's in my head, my vision of what a pierogi is.
Please tell me if there was a hang up there.
Oh, wow. There was for me, and my face was stuck in a face.
All right. So, I have the two new. That's okay. So, what's happening, by the way, is the program that we use for our word processing documents, so, pages that we use for our languages. It freezes now with documents that are too big. And as you know, our language documents are all, 60 plus pages, some 400 plus pages. And so this has made our work quite difficult. It's very disappointing. And this is recent. I mean, High Valyrian has been a big, I think it's happening again. High Valyrian has been a big language document, for...
Ever.
Yeah, like for at least 10 years at this point. Just trying to copy all the features of Google Docs. I think you have that backwards. Google Docs is so bad. So bad.
Time for tier notes that cottage cheese is a dessert in Poland. And that reminds me of that dessert that I made that one time that was Russian with the baked apples with cottage cheese inside. It's like you core an apple and then you put cottage cheese inside and then you bake it. And it ends up being, it is very not American sweet, but a dessert, and it was really good.
I wasn't a huge fan of that one.
Yeah, that's why I haven't made it again. I noticed these things.
Okay, so all right, trying to push forward here. All right, the allative and illative are built off the genitive and locative respectively. Each of them have the accusative that's added on front. The accusative is older hua. Hua comes out as ho. And there are a couple of ways we might do this. You could look at it as like hua bram becomes hua bram becomes hua bram, whereas hom bram just becomes hom bram. But then there's only an M difference between the accusative and illative. We could also make them both W's. Let's see what would happen with some of these others. Same thing there.
With
Oh, I see what you're saying, Magpie. I didn't know that. Well, I kind of knew that.
You knew that Google Docs has troubles with big documents.
Yeah, Yeah.
because you've worked in it before, and I've heard
Yeah.
nothing but complaints from you about it.
Yeah, I've done it twice. I hated it both times.
I also think, by the way, Jonathan, I think that recipe calls for nuts, and of course for David, I didn't use nuts. I think for that one I used pumpkin seeds, actually. Like, I chopped up pumpkin seeds for the crunchy value. And yeah, I thought it was really, really delightful, but it definitely is not a sugary dessert. And I will say that David enjoys the sugary desserts.
Me?
Yes. He does like just plain cottage cheese, though, but
Oh, yeah.
like not
as
for
a
whatever
dessert.
reason.
That's a meal. Just a second here.
Yeah, I learned about that dessert on I think it was Great British Bake Off, and there was a chef on there, or a baker, who was from Russia originally, but lives in England now. And so she made like a lot of things that were inspired by meals or desserts that she remembered from her childhood in Russia. And so she made something and mentioned this particular dessert, and it literally sent me running to the internet to find it, to figure out how to make it.
Yeah, there have been some tremendous dishes that you found on Great British Bake Off. Like tartare.
That one. Oh, I also need to make those clingers again.
Yeah,
because those are really good.
those were
a lot of work, but very delicious.
So Matisse doesn't like coffee
Well, you know that.
or
Or
ice cream or nuts or fruit. What do you eat? Oh, Madeline just wrote something and took it back.
And now I don't know what it was. Anyway, hello, Languagist. You have missed so much. Just kidding. We figured out the poll results and are now staring at our case charts where we need to figure out. Ooh, hello, Madeline.
Could it be because she
I
was
think
on the
so.
wrong
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of Madeline, I get to talk to her tomorrow. I'm going to be talking to her tomorrow.
What am I going to do?
I don't know. What are you going to do? You can say hi if you want, but...
Probably just sit there and be sad.
Yes, because I get to chat with her.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I got all those.
Yay. Okay. So are you saying these forms are the same, or are you just copying them over so we can figure out what their forms are and then enter them?
They're going to be based off of those. So.
Gotcha. Because I was like, really, if they're the same, why not just delete them and say never mind? Indeed, Languagist. Nominative Brahm, plural, wordyship. Accusative Hobram, but plural, word. All the others are blank. You say nothing if it's in the genitive through illative in the plural. Okay, and what is the specific form? It's hua that goes before these?
Hua. And so I wanted to do all of these just to see what the difference would be. And I'm kind of two minds. Now that I've seen what we're working with, it really would, every single time, if it starts... Oh, wow. With that one, the accusative and illative would be identical. And it's, I guess, it's a question of if we want to lean into that or not.
Is that your thinking doodle?
Yeah, have you ever seen them?
I always thought you were just testing pens when you were doing that.
No, I do these all the time. That one wasn't as successful. when I was in high school, I started. I realized I was able to draw stars that kind of looked like they were being pulled apart.
I have to say that David draws stars in a different order than I think the rest of. Yeah, we've had this conversation because you and I draw stars very differently, and so it took me a very long time to figure out what you meant by extend the line for the other star.
Yeah.
And so.
Anyway, so then I just started doing more things like that. Anyway, this is very muddy and unsuccessful. Anyway, I just try to connect it back up and have it look good. Rarely do I succeed. So, I think it would be here. Let me put it here. So this is accusative, genitive, and then I think this is still going to be this. Now I need the ich, we, ahich.
In the one that you just typed, is it supposed to be Abram in the second, on the left? Because right now it says Hobram.
Yeah.
And so that should be Abram.
Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was reading correctly what the chart was.
Wait a minute. I did the wrong one. I'm supposed to be doing locative.
Instead of genitive?
Yeah.
Is that why there's the M in there? I was wondering. I'll change the Abrams on the left to Umbram. Is that what's supposed to happen?
No. It's I'm sorry. This is all a disaster. Yeah. There we go. And then mich. That was it. Okay, now
The forms are making more sense now. I see.
yeah, I think that's what it's got to be. So really it's just it's more the consonant initial forms. So this is the allative and illative are more similar. B, the illative and accusative are more similar. That's kind of what we're looking at right here. I'm gonna make this, see what we want to do with that. I'm gonna run us up a flagpole. Get it? All right. Where should we lean with our two new cases? Why? Oh, they're too big. They're too big.
What's too big?
My options, they were too big.
Oh, okay.
And really what we're looking at here is the form of the illative. So the illative is, I mean, it's already kind of a weighty case. Or the locative is already a weighty case. So then the question is, should the illative, but basically it's like, do you like the idea of it being like hobram is the accusative, hombram is the illative, or do you think it should be more different so that it's hobram and wombram? For the vowel initial forms, it seems like it should be homich no matter what. So that's set in stone.
And is that the same as? Oh, okay. It adds the, gotcha. Okay, okay. I am momentarily in my brain. Oh, today.
What the heck is they talking about?
Today. Who?
Sorry, Jonathan saying, like, I've heard Americans saying they've never heard of about what? I only found. Okay, wait.
Papadoms.
Okay, yeah. No, I don't know what that is. Is this a television show?
I believe it's food. I believe it is Indian. And it's dough that is deep fried or cooked until crunchy. Kind of looks like bready tortillas.
There aren't really Indian restaurants here in Southern California. There are now. There didn't used to be. There weren't when I was growing up. I had never had Indian food and had only heard of it in like television shows until I went to college. In the Bay Area, there's tons of Indian food, all different types, all different regions.
And I didn't have Indian food until grad school.
Yeah.
When I went to Boulder.
I mean, for undergrad, you
I
went
also-
from rural Missouri to rural Missouri.
And I also, that was my first exposure to Thai food.
Oh.
Because I had had, Chinese food and had Japanese, but had never had Thai
No.
or Indian. Yeah.
Oh, well, have a good sleep, sis languagist.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope you drop right off to sleep. And in fact, if you want to leave us on, we'll try to soothe you.
It's delightful.
Do a tone that harmonizes.
We don't need to hear me not be able to harmonize.
Just go like that.
So
Oh, come on.
B is the clear winner.
You can't just go.
The people don't need to hear how bad I am at hitting a note.
Okay. I think they're right. And when I say I think they're right, I don't remember which one it was. They're matching. Yeah. Okay. All right. That gives us our marching orders. So let's fill these in. The LangTime cookbook would be so fire, though. You know it would be.
I don't understand. Like, what if you make a recipe that happens to be the same as someone else's?
What do you mean?
Like, me putting this together.
Yeah.
Someone somewhere out there has done this before.
Okay.
And so what if they're the same? And then what if they sue me because I plagiarized when I thought I was making a new recipe because I didn't see it in a recipe that I looked up? So how do you know that you're creating a new recipe?
Oh, I bet there's tons of case law on this. And I think what it's probably going to come down to is the same. It's going to be a similar issue as the dictionary issue. Like, where I said the guy, put out a copy of the English dictionary and then sued the first book that was published for using his words. And what the important part of the ruling in there was that the definitions, if they are of sufficient length, the definitions can be copyrighted. In other words, the way that you define what apple is in English, that can be copyrighted, but not the word itself. And I believe that the same is going to be true of the recipe, because it's not just going to be the ingredients, it's going to be how you write the whole thing up. And I guarantee you it's going to be unique.
Anyway, this is what, these kinds of things keep me awake at night. But everybody is saying that it's only the presentation that is copyrightable, not the actual process or list of ingredients or whatever.
So yeah, they just said it even better than I did.
I'm going to keep this in mind, though. Aaron is saying if you can show you had no intent to plagiarize, it's largely fine. So in publishing my current book, if somebody calls me out for plagiarism, I'd be like, I didn't intend to. These are the things that keep me awake at night, and it doesn't help that editors at the publishing company are like, are you sure you created this table? And then I'm questioning my own sanity, like, did I see it somewhere else? Because, like, the source I cited didn't have a table. And, then it messes with your brain. It makes you think everything is, I'm going to get sued for everything. Oh, I'm so nervous about it.
So Jake
So
says,
then recipes are, like, that much more stress.
Jake says there was a recent case here where a British Singaporean chef copied parts of someone's life story in her cookbook from a book only published in Singapore. And it's like, things like that, I just don't understand it. I mean, everybody's life, I think, is inherently and uniquely interesting. And it will be just because it's different from somebody else's. It's like there are lots of things about our own lives that we think are very dull and boring, but that's because of where we live, Like, I am just fascinated by so many aspects of Jesse's childhood, which is just so bizarre compared to mine. It's like, oh boy.
Jonathan has to go. And we didn't even finish the tables.
I know.
But we got all the allatives and illatives added. Woo! Good job, David.
Yeah.
Do you want a Kopiko to celebrate?
Yeah, what the hell happened to this?
To what?
Oh. Hold on a sec. Sorry. That was weird.
I also like the word coinage coming up there, the stressipes.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right.
We're going to do Kopiko now, and then near the end of the stream, well, it won't necessarily be end. When we finish the plural cells, we can have our muffins.
Right on, right on, right on.
We get 2 treats.
Cheers.
Cheers to you too. All right.
Mm.
Yeah, this is
Mm-mm. Kopiko, don't tell Jonathan. Mm. Mm. Oh, I love this. Mm.
mm-hmm.
Mm. We were introduced to a new ice cream thanks to Jesse's sleuthing. That's why I said Jethy. So sorry.
Which ice cream was that?
Local scholar Jeff. While we were in the Bay Area,
Oh, right, that one.
you found an ice cream parlor that wasn't just like, oh, I never heard of it because it's new. It had been there for like 70 years. And it was amazing. I'd never heard of it. It was incredible.
And let's just say, like, once I found this ice cream place, I planned the rest of our entire evening, including where our dinner would be, around the ice cream place because I decided that was where we were getting dessert, so we had to be able to walk there from wherever we got dinner. And it was well worth it.
So Madeline is asking about Cold Stone, and it's like, yeah, major chain, super common. I think it's mostly a kids thing here. But I remember, I think it was my mother who first described Cold Stone to me. And when she was describing it, it honestly sounded like the most magical thing. She was like, they put ice cream on a stone. And it's very cold, and they actually crush the toppings into it. And I was like, this sounds fake.
And I'm actually going to pop, this is Mitchell's Ice Cream, a San Francisco tradition. This is where we went. And what's really cool is they like actually tell you in the descriptions of the flavors like where they source their ingredients. So like the peach ice cream was made from peaches in California and you know things like that.
Miles knows what Mitchell's is?
I'm guessing so. Anyway, so good. It was so good, and like as soon as I finished my ice cream, I was like I kind of want to walk back and get another one even though I had like this very large double scoop.
Mm-hmm.
And had half a pizza before. Very large double scoop. The pizza place was good too.
It's like a pretty normal website to me.
It's because it's a touch of David.
Anyway, I'm very fascinated by Miles saying that
It's a different Mitchell's.
the Cold Stone at their place of residence became a Tim Hortons. And by residence, I mean business.
Work-it-ins. Well, it just means the building became a Tim Hortons. Was a Cold Stone.
All right. To Mitchell's?
Which Mitchell's, Madeline? The one that is apparently in Cleveland, or the one that's in San Francisco?
Wait, I think I've been to both.
Big ice cream. And then, David, I am ready to be reminded what our plural protoforms were that we were going to be adding to our nouns. Otherwise, if we keep talking about ice cream, I am just going to be thinking about ice cream. David.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What if... Here,
the end of the stream when we get our muffins, instead of just eating the muffins,
Yeah.
I cut it open and put in a little piece of salted caramel ice cream.
Oh, that's really good. I like that.
Oh.
I've been here. I've been to Mitchell's Homemade Ice Cream in Cleveland or thereabouts. I was there with Donald Boozers, and you know Donald Boozer is a conlanger who works for the Cleveland Public Library. So wow, I've been to both now.
Oh,
You know, Nemo, when I
might
was
be in more locations.
when I was in India, I had this ice cream that utterly blew me away. I'd never seen ice cream like this, never imagined it.
And where?
India. And I hope I'm remembering it right, that it's kulfi, but essentially like it was served with dinner because it could stay there because it didn't melt. So I like ate my whole meal and then had that afterwards. It was just vanilla. It was wonderful. It really was something that it wasn't the dining commons for that university. This is Bits Pilani. I believe it was their faculty club, which is partly why the undergraduates that had brought me there, they were excited to take turns going with me to get meals there because ordinarily they wouldn't be allowed in. But yeah, it was really good. All right. All right. Plural.
Mm-hmm. What is the protoform?
Him. So we already have some of these because this was the whole idea with the singular, plural, contracted, and so forth. So I'm going to start here and fill in what we have.
Okay. Bye, Kobe. I hope you have a great week.
Oh my. He must said he applied to Bits Pilani, but forgot to show up on the day of the entrance test.
Oh no.
That sounds like the type of thing that happens in a nightmare well after you've graduated college. Wabram. Genitive. Abram. Locative. So I think understanding the principles of what we've done already, I mean that's it.
Nice.
Compare the illative singular to plural. It looks as if there's this random "a" infix that makes it plural.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, not what's happening at all. How about that? So that appears to be that.
Nice.
This is the other one we figured out. Hammy. Whammy.
Hammy and whammy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Ami. Yeah. Mammy, Mammy, speak to me, Mammy, Mammy.
I was just thinking of the Finnish mammy.
Oh, that's
Mammy.
right.
Mimia. Oh, speaking of Finnish and, thinking how much I miss learning Finnish. I did indeed, after asking for advice last week, I did indeed start the Greek Duolingo course.
Hmm.
And so I've been working on that. And it was really, really funny because like right now it's still at the very beginning stage where it's just like, here are some random words. And, their main goal at this point is like, get used to the alphabet. Which, very technically speaking, I could skip this part because I know the Greek alphabet. However, I'm still doing all of the lessons because modern Greek is, as you may have guessed, produced a little differently than ancient Greek, or what the guesses are about, how ancient Greek sounded. And so my connection to the Greek letters is through ancient Greek, and so I'm doing all of the lessons so I can learn how they're pronounced in modern Greek, which, especially with the vowels, different. Anyway, one of the examples they give is apparently like a name that they're going to be using a lot in this lesson is Nana. And one of the things was just like, Nana, do caroto, which literally means Nana, the carrot. And it made me laugh. I took a picture because, Natalie. And it's just like, the carrot.
It's
but
what
I think it's really what they're trying to say is like,
sous chef.
hand me
That's
the
right.
whatever. And so, it's like we're getting a lot of like donero and tocaroto, and then it'll be mixed with a name, and it's just kind of funny. But anyway.
Yeah. Love Greek, or love modern Greek. You have iota, this is pronounced E. And then also upsilon, this is pronounced E. And then upsilon iota, this is E as well.
Right, like so like torisi
Epsilon
is spelled
iota,
with an upsilon.
this is E.
And then the eta is pronounced E as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was one of the other words? Oh my gosh, I just lost what I was thinking. Oh well, but anyway, it is very interesting. Oh, their word for yes is nay.
Ne, yeah.
And so it's very like, opposite. So every time I hear ne, tokoroto, like, yes, the carrot. It's like getting your brain around. My neighbor, tokoroto. Yes.
Okay, so here's where I get a little confused. I guess. No, okay. I guess it's the same because these are both. Yeah, I guess this is the same. All right. So that this would be the same. And then this is where we would see a difference. Okay. Because the plural it goes preposition plural. That's why. Right. So that's why. So the plurals are a little bit more basic, I think, so far.
In other words,
The only question is if there's any point in time where this would change. And like, this is one of them. I think we have to see, so cloud. What is the protoform of cloud?
Okay, I need to open Helgolf because we didn't actually enter those.
Oh, right, yeah.
in
Oh,
here,
I
so-
should have just looked it up. I have the screen anyway. Rom.
As I just got there, David, so I could have verified that.
Oh no, that wasn't the reason. I was like, I have the screen and Pages is up front. I might as well show people. You know what I'm saying? I had
It's
no
very
doubt.
kind of you.
I had no doubt that you could find it. So we have Rom and then him. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Okay, so because this is a plural and because it's so phonologically reduced, we're killing the nasal, but it's still having an effect. And so even though it's j'aime in the singular, it should be harem in the plural, harem. Which means that I think across the board, all of these things, they're going to have the same prefixes, but they're going to co-occur with this plural stem that shows up in the accusative and the locative and illative in the singular. Right, okay. And all right. Where's Danielle?
Here?
I remember the patron live stream. Danielle popped in at the end, and I felt like I didn't say a proper hello, and so I wanted to say a nice hello this time if Danielle was here.
That's very nice of you.
I'm very nice sometimes. Other times I'm incredibly vindictive and spiteful. Hello, Danielle.
I love that you say it so soft and gently, and then hello right after that. It's just
We have to acknowledge our flaws. It was really nice spending time with Danielle over at CopyCon.
that was.
All right. Onward we thrust. Clan.
Right. I am leaving you to these charts. I'm gonna take our muffins to the kitchen, and I'm gonna be back.
Oh my god.
This is happening.
Well.
Whoop, as I run into tables on the way. I'm so excited.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Have you hit a stickler?
Yeah, so we'll have to talk about this.
I'm listening.
Oh, I was gonna wait for muffins. So, it's a question of attachment. So we have these forms that end up in a geminate, and then take an epenthetic vowel at the beginning. And the question is when this form attaches this prefix. That is an unusually loud.
I think it's a helicopter.
I don't think so. We have helicopters all the time. They sound different. This has much more of the
A low flying airplane.
yeah. And so like well in the proto comes out as avau.
Okay.
And if you run this into Lexergy, put, him in front of well, you end up with hangavau.
Ooh, okay.
And that seems unlikely. But it all depends on when this thing attaches. Madeline, you seem like the type that could pull off a muffin. A successful muffin.
You mean like making one?
Yeah. Magpie too. Patrick. No.
You just said Patrick. Can Patrick pull it off or no?
No. Cannot. Jessie does have enough muffins to share with everybody. And she's not going to.
Who's not going to share, David?
You aren't. With everybody. There are certain of Jessie's foods which are very good and I very much enjoy. And I want other people to try them because they're so good. There are also dishes of hers that are so good that I will actually hide them.
From your sister.
From my sister when she comes over, I will not volunteer them to be taken to a second location. I want them all. These muffins are among those. They're so good. They're like, I took a bite of it and I was like, well, this is one of my favorite desserts that I've ever had in my life. Oh gosh! Oh my God! That reminds me. I'm going to post something in the Discord, and I want Jake to look at it first before I say what it is. Oh, and Nemo's posted the Papadum song. Oh.
Here it is on camera. And then David.
Okay. All right. There we go. I believe it's been posted. So now you can go see what I saw at Costco, Jake. This last time I went. Oh, this is.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit big. I feel like I'm gonna wait for David to take a bite before I take a bite, so we're both not just eating on screen. Okay. I had to look at his little tapping feet. He had happy tappy feet going on.
Oh my God.
So I think the ice cream was a good idea. Making little muffin ice cream sandwiches out of these. There go the feet again. I love watching David eat. And so, really, Jake says the ranch was maybe one of their favorite things that we brought for them to try. And that was, of course, there were Takis, beans.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, the beans were just beans, just a particular type of bean that is more readily available in the U.S. And so, like, I can't imagine that was terribly exciting. Just a bean. But yeah, ranch was definitely one of those things. Oh, Karis, next time we come, we'll bring you some Takis too.
Like they're not going to be expensive here now.
Yeah, well, probably still. Well, no, I don't know. But we are still willing to bring you Takis, even if they are expensive. We don't know what prices will be affected. Oh, Jake liked the Takis enough that they bought them again. Wow. David has gotten up to dance. Oh, you didn't get the blue ones? The blue Takis? I've actually never had the blue Takis. I've just seen them in the grocery store. And I think, okay, we're on like the last 2 tables. That's really exciting. But this was where we had to talk about the insertion. Okay. Jake points out that the food coloring law means that the British ones are not quite the same bright colors as our absolute lack of fear of crazy food dye coloring. Oh.
Not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I personally don't bake with food dye. I don't have any in the house, nor will I. And I kind of wish that we would use less of it here. Oh, that's loud. People are gonna be really upset by that. I love you. So if you heard that. Okay, now I can have my muffin while you show the
Patrick
insertion.
had some ice cream. That's cool. Yeah. So, oh, I don't even know why I'm saying this. We look at the. We just look at the singular. And that gives us our path forward, because obviously if one was going to attach first, it would be the plural, not the case. It
is quite good. I have lost you. But if that's our path forward, then we know.
Yeah. I hadn't heard of Beltane until we worked together on Motherland Fort Salem. And they were like saying it like it was a thing that we should all know. And that confused me. And then as far as I could figure out based on the show, what it was just witch prom. As far as I could tell.
Witch prom, but even more sex?
I guess. Okay.
Patrick. Heard some kind of squealing like a vole got the sad part of a nature documentary. I think that's when you kissed me.
Oh, that's cool. Oh man, no, I had this dream that there was like a television show that I and a bunch of people I knew were a part of. Like we were all actors, and like 2 episodes or something had been done. Like we were also the writers, or I guess. Anyway, but like something happened, and like one of the people involved with this like got canceled in a very bad Me Too way, and so we all like left the show. But then somebody who was a producer was like, yeah, I totally get it, we totally support you, but like we still need to write the show, so we're gonna hire a bunch of new writers. Yeah. Anyway, a very weird dream to have. It was also, it took place mostly in the garage of a large house.
The entire dream or the
This
show?
scene
Okay.
where we were riding and everything. Like I had a bicycle, which that's not me. Not anymore.
Say, I've been with you a while. I've never seen you ride a bike.
Okay. Okay.
Hey,
Oh,
it's
boy.
Nemo. It's good to see Nemo here.
It is very good. Okay, this is where it gets tough.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it gets tough.
I'm ready to see some practice forms or drafts of forms that we can now. Even on the nominative? For Lija?
No, we're still on avowal.
Oh, whoa. I thought that one was done. Okay.
No, it's not done.
Sorry, I was confused why Lija was holding you up here, and so
So
okay.
the problem is we have to like actually go into our sound changes and figure out what should happen with these because if we are not doing the insertion, we have to see what would have happened to this consonant after a nasal.
Okay.
And then delete the nasal.
Let's see. What is the okay? I've got the protoform for clan. And what does it need to occur after?
So you see how it's like showing up as either a double V or a double J?
If you wanted Lex or G on the screen, I don't think you have it.
No, I'm looking at the table.
Oh. Gotcha. In the table, it's either V or Z. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Like, I'm wondering if it ever shows up as a... I guess we need to trace the sound changes of what gives us the double V to figure out at the point that we're kind of doing this, where it's going to be H, E, M, W, like what happens? Does it still show up as V or does it actually come out as R? Biblaridian's here! Ah! Garage.
Okay.
I suppose you call your garages carriages as well. Disparage. Becomes Rval. Arval. And then the Arval becomes Aval.
So I'm tracing. I'm not sure where you are, David. I am tracing changes of 3 different forms. One is the actual compounding of hem and roel together. The second is making it himrel without the labialization to just see what the M-R do together, upside down R.
Yeah.
The third is hemwell with just full labialization, no r,
Okay.
just to see like where we're getting the shifts. And as you know, the problem is the hung followed by ruel or rual at this point. Too many consonants in a row, and that's when we get that copy vowel.
Yeah.
Being a prefix, would it seem likely then that the angma would just drop out and we would get harwel?
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Then we can just put that form in. And indeed, it does. Okay. By the way, I decided to put beta in after M to see what happens to it. Nothing happens to it. It stays beta. And so I think that we're fine with M beta.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but you're absolutely right. So I just put in Hegwel and it comes out as Havau. So that did it. That did it. You did it, Jess.
Yay.
All right. Now we need...
I just got a text directly from Snap Kitchen. They're giving me personally $20 off if I click this link.
LangTime Studio brought to you by Snap Kitchen.
Reminds me. Thanks. My God, when Ross is like in Friends, when he's like way too like about the fact that Rachel and Joey are dating, and he does his little like foot stomp dance with fajitas. That just reminds me, like that's what Snap Kitchen is. Oh man.
Oh, you know what happens? The
happens?
The genitive is undone.
My God.
Yeah, the genitive is undone. Not like undone, but you know how it's ajao in the singular, it's abvao in the plural. Because that I, which was what was causing the palatalization, is now in front of the hem, not in front of the well. And so that is, the genitive plural is a little bit more regular.
Nice.
All right.
That's kind of fun. I gotta say, Miles, according to my text, it's actually 20 credit is the special code. No LTS, unfortunately.
Yes?
That was me coughing.
You want to do it again?
You like the sound of your wife coughing?
Actually, no.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know why you looked very excited at the prospect of hearing me cough again.
Okay. So then this is just that with a W.
Yes. If I want to sneeze a breeze like David, although that was a cough, not a sneeze, but still,
Yeah.
point taken.
Did you already throw away your wrapper?
I did. When I got up with the muffins, I threw my wrapper away from the Kopiko.
Thank you.
David's disappearing. I think, though, we've got a good little start here. And I hope, then, that this means Lija and Wow, the words for rain and I, will not be as difficult. Right, English. Gotta get that frail tuberculosis-y wife. Sorry, Aaron. Patrick says sneeze a breeze. David is more like snust a gust. Snurricane a hurricane.
Just call me Snust Augusticus.
Oh, this is fantastic.
All right. We're... Okay, here we go.
What? What's that?
Just a little yawnlet.
What was the noise that came with the yawn?
I don't know.
Oh, nice. Snopical storm. Love it.
Okay, so this L doesn't change. It's just this.
Oh, good night,
business.
Aaron.
Pleasant night to you, Aaron. Oh, the windmill. Oh, I do so love these beach balls. Let me just make sure.
Right.
What was the protoform of rain?
Great question. L-E upside down are labialized. Himmler.
Okay, just checking, just checking.
Leisha.
All right. I think this is mostly right. Very bizarre set of case forms here.
Oh, I think that was just a shadow of a bird. Something caught my eye out the window. Sometimes we get a cat visiting us in our little patio, so I was quick to look, but I think it was just a shadow of a bird flying overhead.
Okay, so that one turned out to be easy.
Alicia. This is delightful.
Okay, and this is a L initial, but not in front of a front vowel. Okay, so I is wall. Oh, it shouldn't say L initial. It should say W initial. Speaking of overrated bands, social distortion.
I don't know social distortion.
It's because you're not from Orange County. Oh, okay, we do have a little spopesy there.
A spopesy?
Yeah,
What's a spopesy?
it's a little one.
A what?
The W is changing. I'm sorry. Yeah, the W is changing even in the nominative
Okay.
because of the preceding M,
Okay.
which is voiced. And so only the nominative singular has the W.
Okay. I mean, that's to be expected, though, right? Because it's no longer initial, so that's kind of a fun little twist.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that one's done. You know what that means. They're all done.
Yay! We pre-celebrated.
Yeah, we already got like a double celebration here. That is exciting. That is very exciting. All right, so now comes the most fun part of creating a language. Figuring out what the principal parts should be for your nouns when entering them into the dictionary. So that then you can enter dictionary forms.
We obviously need nominative singular.
Yeah. Nominative plural buys you a lot too, because you get to see the the second stem. But if you look at the avowal, we also have to have the genitive singular.
Why is that?
The genitive singular can be different. Look at cloud and look at clan.
Clan is. I thought you were talking about avow from the plural genitive of I and saying that genitive singular needed to be entered, and I was like, why? That one seems pretty straightforward. Those very similar words. Okay. Yeah, and then the genitive singular, if it's different, will give us the allative
Yeah.
form.
Other than that, I mean, I think those are the only three forms you need to predict the rest of the paradigm. Yeah. Maybe throw the accusative singular in there if you wanted.
I was thinking locative because it tells you what nasal shows up, even though it is predictable if you know the protoform.
Oh.
If you don't know the protoform, I feel like there could be a case or two where
No, you're right.
the locative could be confusing.
No, you're absolutely right. So that means nominative singular, nominative plural, genitive singular, locative singular. And I suppose there is an open question of if we just want to include the accusative singular since we're doing so many others. It'll make it feel a little bit more like Hauhoff.
I mean,
Hell with it, let's do it.
yeah, it's just one more form, and it's
Yeah.
it. And the illative is a kind of marriage of the accusative form and the locative form.
I think you mean mirage. It's a callback to chat.
That was such a callback that took me a hot minute to figure out what you were doing. Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
And then the allative is always going to be genitive plus wa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's do this. Let's enter our first noun. Ah! So excited. Where else? Let's start with our Brahm.
All right, and you have the protoform.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Brahm, plural is a ha prefix. Singular, accusative is a ho prefix. Genitive is an a prefix.
Yes.
Locative is om. We have a word.
Yay! Now, that leaves that page to come down here and do the English side. All right.
All right.
Ready to enter the other nouns?
Yeah, sure. Why don't you stay up at the top and I will jump around. What's next?
Bone is Deb, D-E-B.
Okay. I will find the protoform so that you don't have to move.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that's the protoform?
Bulb.
bone. Love this. Of course, reminds me of the movie Debs. You are the Deb.
All right, and then are you ready to make sure you have the right forms?
Yes.
So plural we have hadeb,
Mm-hmm.
accusative singular hodeb,
Mm-hmm.
genitive adeb,
Mm-hmm.
and locative ondeb.
With an N.
N.
That one is a little less surprising because
The
it starts
D
with a
pulls
voice.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Cloud, Jem, Z-H-E-M.
Yeah, this one's gonna be weird. Oh, and by the way, this is your yearly reminder. If you haven't seen the movie Debs, that is absolutely required viewing for all LangTime EOs. You must watch it. Okay, Gem.
And then we have harem.
Just 1 second. Home is the having to deal with a hang up. Give me just a second.
Sure.
Cloud. But it has the r.
Yeah, harem.
Okay.
And then accusative horem with the r again, G-H.
Okay.
Genitive ajem.
Okay.
And locative ongem. O-N-G-H-E-M.
All right. Got that.
Clan is avau with an umlaut A double V, umlaut A W.
How do you recommend I write this? Like, should I like put a dot in front of separating the a and the v since it's not a part of the root? I think I should.
Yeah,
'Cause
and then genitive, you just are going to have to write the whole thing.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Yeah. Oh wait, this is beta. Okay, and then this is clan.
Yeah. So
Okay,
plural is havau, and so you'll need the ha.
okay,
Accusative is ho,
yeah,
hovau. Genitive switches to ajau. Or sorry, ajau, because it's a, not a.
okay,
And then locative, you add an o to the root, so oval.
okay. That's good.
Okay. And then next up is leisure, brain, with a ZZH.
Oh,
And well, you know what, since this is silent, instead of typing, tinguish, yes, we do like to put anything that is less predictable, which often means there's something interacting at the proto level with sound changes. We like to have those in the dictionary entries, so that way it's like the predictable ones. If it's like, hey, always add ha, then always add ha. And like, why do you need it in the dictionary? You can just say in the noun section, add this and you're done. But anytime there are going to be changes and unpredictable forms, that's where we add those prefixes in the dictionary.
And I have to tell you, this is a great quality of life improvement when it comes to actually doing translation. Like, it's one thing if your document is just your document and just really to enjoy. But like anytime that you have any type of translation project that's kind of like in a time crunch, great example is Relay. It's really helpful to have the less predictable information written in for you ahead of time, because then you don't have to think about it. You can just look at it and see it and you're done,
And David, the locative is ong.
And that's the only difference for that one. It's like the only funky thing.
Yeah, because then it's ha for the plural.
Yeah.
Ho, ong is what we're looking at.
Got it. All right, next.
Next is wow, I-W-A-W.
Okay. And I know that the protoform of that is wall. All right.
And for that we have havau,
Okay.
accusative hovau, genitive avau, and locative omvau.
Okay.
Okay. And then our final one is ich, cat, I-H.
And that's a regular H at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Got it.
And so then we have hammy for the plural. Add a W for the accusative, we.
Mm-hmm.
Genitive is AH, ahi.
Mm-hmm.
And locative is M, me.
Fancy dunsy.
We got it. What are we going to do for a poll this week, David?
Absolutely no idea. Like this was sewn up like a button so well. Are you entering things?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will.
Stop.
Yeah, I put in cat, but okay. So then we don't need this anymore. We do need this because this is verb stuff. That was agreement. We finished agreement. Then we stopped agreement and went to the cases. Could tell pronouns.
Well. And you beat me to cat. Okay.
It's kind of a small thing. If we wanted to save getting into verbs for our next stream, where we'll be in Philadelphia and not distracted by a puppy and definitely with it, and we could ask people about the third person pronouns, because we don't have any third person pronouns at the proto stage.
Yeah.
And I don't think they exist at all in Helgoff. So we could discuss sources for third person pronouns.
I like that.
Okay.
So Magpie says the poll should be what I should bake next. We could do that on a future week, but with us traveling, this is not a good week for it.
Yeah. Let's see.
And I'm going to say that no, Brum will not shift to mean fox, because there will be a word that meant fox in the original language. And there wouldn't be a great reason for them to be like, we're suddenly going to shift our identity as well to fit the word, rather than just saying Bram is no longer a super important word to us. It refers to the dogs, and they're the dogs. I should, instead of asking you where you're typing, I should just join you in the document.
Oh, everybody in chat can see where I was typing now.
Oh. And now Wow, these two are just going back and forth. Where are the votes for this vibrant and festive quiche?
It's because this is what they want, and I can't disagree.
Okay, the quiche got.
Though I might, honestly, if it were me voting, I think I would vote for the caramel brownies. Oh, it sounds delicious.
It's a good question to be asking, but Magpie is verifying that they make some good peanut butter cookies, so that's good. But yeah, Jake asking if there are any dietary requirements is always a very nice thing to do before voting on food things. Although all of these you could very theoretically make dietary friendly. Even though peanut butter may have to be fudged if you're allergic to peanuts and be like sun butter instead.
Just make me wine-soaked almonds with a guacamole dipping sauce.
And pineapple?
A little pineapple on the side.
My goodness, quiche is now tied with cookies. You're typing again.
Well, yeah.
Where are you? There you are.
It was hung up. I think quiche is another word I'd like to hear Bibleridian say. I think it might be nice.
Ah, yes. Jake is suggesting that we serve the wine-soaked almonds inside a pineapple ring instead of just a bit.
Oh, that's... All right, I'm going to leave this to Magpie. So Magpie, it is entirely up to you. You can bake either peanut butter chocolate chip cookies or a vibrant and festive quiche.
Ooh, nice. That works. Any sort of nutty-like butter works.
We don't have a word for fox yet.
No, so I think we need to put that up as a suggestion, and then we would be able to pick a form, right?
Yeah. Oh, heck. Do you want to just create a word for fox right now?
Sure.
Well, what do you like? And
Oh, thank you, Jake.
I'll throw it into Lexergy, and we can see how it comes out. Yeah.
What do I like? Keep or Kiev? Ooh, I like Kiev. Just aspirated, not labial.
Error? Oh, of course. It's there's no I in the proto. So
Oh my gosh!
it'd have to be an E.
Cave. I think we already have that. We already have cave.
Yeah, I mean, it was the correct pronunciation. It was just as if it were modern Greek. So that comes out as Shiv.
Okay. But I swear we already have that protoform.
How close can we get to quiche? Not very.
What would quake come out as?
Quiche.
Done.
You like it?
Quiche.
All right. Let's make sure it wasn't used already.
Ooh, and Magpie's going for the cookies. I am very excited for future Magpie enjoying those delicious almond butter cookies. Do you know what? Do you know why I bet my brain went straight to Kiev or Kiev?
Hmm.
Do you remember the Fox language? Remember the workshop that we have done many times?
Oh yeah.
The protoform is Kif, K-I-F for
That's
fox.
right.
And so it comes out in modern forms in general as key in many of them because the sound changes often lose that F. And so...
Oh, that's
Yeah.
nice. Well, do you want to try to make it Keef instead?
No, I like quiche. That's cute.
Okay. I'm adding it first to Hauhoff, and so I might need a little help. Let's see.
Oh, sound changes are going to be totally different in this language.
Yeah.
Do you have the sound changes
Quake.
open?
Okay, Quake. It just comes out as Quake. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, we can just take it from Quame, which is belly, and it will just be Quake.
Because you're quake like a fox. I'm delighted by this.
All
I
right.
put it on the English side.
For Hauhoff?
Yeah.
All right. Add that to... All right, and now let's go to here and make sure that we can do it. Where are all our words? Here we go.
Jake, yes, the quake fox jumps over the lazy Bram. I love it.
Fox. Oh, are we gonna do the exact same protoforms as Hauhoff, so including all the aspiration?
No, because I think we actually end up losing the aspiration.
We do, but the question is if we want the protoforms to look the
The
same.
protoforms. I was thinking IPA for modern forms. I was like, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I guess so. So that way it's the same. But
Yeah.
boy, that's annoying, isn't it?
It is a little annoying.
Because we made it in Luxorgy. You know, we had it look different. So.
Okay. So now the question is, do these things come out the same? Yes. So
Oh, you
it's
mean for the
cases? Yeah, so that's fine. And then what about... Yeah, that's still fine. What about this one? Still fine.
And then it would be on for the locative, right? On quiche.
Yeah. All right. All right. That is lovely.
Yay! Okay, so now we can talk about potentially having that as a third person pronoun source.
Yeah.
So yay. Okay, cool.
Let me just... Yeah. All right, it's fine. Okay.
It's good. It's good.
All right.
We've got this.
Yeah, we're over time.
Thank you all for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next Thursday from a different location.
All right.
In the meantime, stay grammar.
Bye, everybody.